So, I'll put it off long enough. Show some archery stuff off. So, I recently was able to buy back my old archery gear. Appreciate you, Gary. Took good care of it for me. So, all this stuff, I made this stuff like 5 years ago, and I arched about 5 years ago. So, let's kind of talk about some philosophy first. Pardon the red color. He had painted it. I used to have it a different color. So, oh gosh, back I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe, it started about 8 years ago. As a red fighter, I fought for a while, and I would always jam my finger. And mainly that was because I was fighting improperly. I was fighting with, like, you know, the old style, like, no cross guards, and I would jam my fingers. My wrist would get fucked up and all that, so I'd have to have a backup. Something that I could do when, you know, I couldn't fight red. So I ended up getting into archery. I did, I want to say I did about 3 events, 4 events as an archer, mostly small events, but I went to a couple, I think 2 wars as an archer. My first bow was this little horse bow from Medieval Collectibles. It's about 24 pounds, 26-inch draw. This is like a perfect line bow. Super light, super small, low fiberglass, kind of wood grain look. You can barely see it on the camera there, but I think I spent about $60 on it. It served me well. This is a good little bow. It's been around forever. And if I picked a bow to use on a line, this would be it. This is such a small bow, really easy to get in and around people. I love this bow. This was the first bow I used in DAG. And then I was like, I don't like carrying a quiver. I never liked carrying a quiver because we'll get into it later, but like I'm a combat archer. I'm not a sniper. So for me, carrying this quiver, I was always breaking arrow shafts when I went down on a knee because I'd go into a fight. I would fight people. So I originally made this clip system for my red on my back so that I could have my red when I arched. So, you know, I could sit here, someone charged me, I toss my bow, and I come and fight them. And so with that in mind, I was a red fighter first and archer second. I was only doing that because I was wanting my hand to recover. But I never wanted to have a side sword, like just a basic-ass sword. So I put that on my back. So because I never wanted to have a quiver, I ended up making a PVC bow. While being far less effective and much bigger, this was a loadout, man. This was a loadout. Like, I could have my red on my back, and I could toss the whole bow and get rid of my arrows and not have them in a quiver on my side, and I could go full red. So I would do something similar to like this. I would come up, I'd be like, I wouldn't stay up right on the line, but like a little bit behind it. And I would arch. And then in skirmishes or practice, I could toss my bow, like just toss it and not care, and pull a red out and come to fight. Oh, people's faces, I'm like, oh, they start rushing, you whip your red off your back, you're just like, come at me, bitch. It's priceless. So there's a YouTuber, I think Backyard Bowyer. This is the basically just PVC fiberglass bow. This bow probably cost me like fucking $10 to make. It's such an easy bow to fucking make. And it's almost a long bow. It's like almost as tall as me. It's a big fucking bow. I believe you have to essentially make the PVC longer to reduce the bow weight, the draw weight from his video to make it to where it was DAG legal, but it wasn't very hard. I also curved the ends so that it doesn't snap my arm. So it makes it less efficient, but I don't have to wear a brace here. So the other nice part about this, I don't care if this bow breaks. I will block everything all day while I pull that red with this. So, you know, I can just come up here, knock my arrow, and be good to go, and then my arrows are here. I can just keep drawing them from here versus trying to fiddle with anything back here. Now, most people strike from the right side, so I'm not worried about my arrows getting hit very much, and even if they do, there's nothing that's going to happen to them here. So that was kind of like, this is where I ended up with arching, and we'll probably keep going with archery if I do that. I'll keep fighting with this. Um, Now, if I'm really being laid back and I really don't care about what I'm doing, I'm not trying to like fight people, and I only have this bow, I'll bring a quiver. But like this, while being the great option, I can't carry arrows like I can carry that on there. So for me, that was my setup. It was this and a red. So let's talk about. I have two distinctions for an archer. I think there's a combat archer and a sniper, like a support sniper. I was what I would consider a combat archer. I would be like right up behind that line, taking out key assets and targets. Yeah, that's what an archer should do. But like I could also toss my bow to the side and pull a red out and defend the line or break shields. So I also just wanted to kill whoever was rushing me. I felt as an archer, if somebody killed me, they were going to kill the other archers or backhack. So I needed to be able to be a stopgap against that. I'd arch, especially if my hand was fucked up, but pull my red and fuck up whoever's chasing or pushing. And that was successful. I liked it a lot. What stopped me from arching is I fucking hate going around and picking up my arrows. I fucking hate it. I can't stand it. I lost an arrow once at Middlemarch. It's still there. I never went back and got it. I just haven't had the chance or forgot while I was there the last few years. So I really only do this at small day events where I don't have to walk way out to go get my arrows, or I have to like walk between a bunch of people like war the day event. It's non-stop fighting. So like I have to walk in between a bunch of people who were fighting and respawning and fighting to go get my arrows. And it was a pain. And then shooting in the woods. I like green. I like the color green. I picked green fucking arrows. So it's a pain in the ass to fucking see my arrows when I shoot them in the woods. My fault, right? I'm dumbass. But I spent like $150 on like 12 Gorg arrows, or like I think it was 80, 90 bucks for the heads plus shafts, so like 120 bucks on arrows. And I was like, I don't want to lose them, so I'll keep it to practice or day events. And so I kind of stopped arching. So, and because I went in the longsword and I got my grip good, I didn't have to worry about fucking my hands up anymore. It rarely happened, so I never really came back to bow. But I've always had it until I sold it to Gary, our good boy Ghost there, and he sold it back to me, so I got him again. And, honestly, it brings up a little nostalgia. So the two different kinds of archers I see, a combat archer and a sniper. Your snipers, I like the combat archer personally because it's a stopgap, like I said. And you're right in the action. You are threatening people consistently and you're taking out key targets. A sniper is, you're way back. You're like as far back as you can be and still hit targets. And you're scavenging other people's arrows, which I did do. I always kept my arrows as much as I could and shot other people's. But because I trust my arrows for key targets. But as a faraway archer, this doesn't sound bad, but it tends to be, older or young. Like, this doesn't sound really bad. A lot of girls, a lot of women like to arch. A lot of older men like to arch. It's a very more laid back experience when you're kind of a sniper support archer, and I really like that, especially if I'm injured. I like to do that. And I'll probably do it more as I get older, which is why I like to buy it. Why I was really interested in buying this back, because I was like, eventually I'm going to get old and I'm going to want something to do later. And that's what this is. And so as a kind of a sniper, sniper support archer, you're trying to take out the spears, but you're not really trying to be right in the middle of the action, right in the middle of the danger. I may not be that good of an archer, and that's probably why I like being up front. It's easier for me to hit targets. Right outside that 20-foot range is where I want to be, right there all the time. Good archers, like really good archers who spend all their time doing it, can be 40, 50, 60 feet away with a good bow. Like, they get a good $200, nice bow. They can consistently hit shots way out there. Etiquette. I'm more of a dick of an archer. I like shooting people in the face. Sounds bad. If I have a chest shot, and I think they'll take it and notice it quicker, then I will shoot them in the chest. But on a line, people take headshots, no questions asked, all day long, every day. I don't like having to call out somebody for me hitting them in the chest and them not taking it. It's not that I don't think they're not going to take my shot. It's faster. A headshot, I don't have to say nothing, I can move on my next target. chest shot. If they're wearing armor, they don't feel it. They're gonna sit there and try to like call out to that guy, and I don't want to do that. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. So headshots. I like I said, I go for them. If I don't think I can get a headshot, I move on to another target. Which is basically why I say, like, if somebody's wearing a helmet, you're going to get a lot less shots because a lot of people go for the head. They don't say it, but they do. A lot of people go for the head. Now, I don't arch as, like, my main thing, so I don't follow the most nice archer etiquette. However, when I'm getting shot at, I basically just take whatever their call is. I don't care if I think they're wrong. I will take their call and move on. Having been an archer, it's just faster for the game for me to take it, swallow my pride, and move on. Unless I know absolutely that they missed. Like I saw that shit whiz by my head or saw that shit whiz without grazing me or even without a shadow of doubt grazing me, I won't argue. Because I've had people argue with me. I've shot people in the head and they're like, oh, that just grazed my hair. I'm like, bro, nobody can see that. Like, that's just how it works. Like, if your hair is up there and it's looked like it grazed and it deflected, like, I'm calling it. And now, if I know it was garb, I'm not going to say nothing. And a lot of times people say garb just to clarify. Cool. Good on you. More communication that we can do that doesn't slow down the gameplay is great. Now, what I would think is a good loadout for an archer. I don't expect you to do what I do. You don't have to go with this route and carry a red. What I would think would be the pretty good basics for an archer is, let me put this on here somewhere. Good enough. So, the bow. Quiver. I prefer quivers. For me, I prefer drawing from the back. I think this is more natural for me. Some people like to carry off the side. That's cool too, whatever you like doing. I just prefer drawing from the back. I think it's partly Monster Hunter kind of influenced that. Helmet. I prefer my brimmed helmet, which I didn't have when I did this first time, but I think if I was an archer again, I want clear shots. I want to be able to see what I'm shooting at easily, and I don't want sun in my face. Also, I need to pick up arrows. And a lot of times I'm ducking down to do that. I don't want to get hit in the head or knee in the head. I got knee in the head one time bad. So I want to have something, when I'm not paying attention to the field and I'm grabbing arrows, I want to make sure something is protecting me. I always want to wear a helmet. And then you should, if you aren't confident, get one of those things to protect your arm from getting slapped. If someone hits your weapon while you're shooting, or someone shoots your weapon while you're shooting, it can throw it off and snap your arm. Don't want that. Leg protection. I think you should have leg protection because you're going to be running away. If you're running to go draw your sword and you're blocking with your bow, this protects the upper part. Your footwork should protect your lower, but your leg armor is going to help better. This is kind of what I would do if I was just being a casual archer. Side weapon that I can draw easily. My bow. I don't want my sidearm to get in the way of my bow. And then arrows. I always bring 6 arrows. I think 12 is overkill, especially if there's other archers on the field. If there's no other archers, have 6 arrows or 12 arrows, man. Bring out all your arrows. It's a lot, but like you don't have the chance to go get more arrows. If there's somebody else on the field, there's tons of archers, I may even bring 3 arrows because I just want to be able to use my arrows to pick off specific people. And I'll forage for other people's arrows. Pick them up, shoot them back. I'll inspect them first. Always inspect your arrows. Inspect your arrows and archers. You still want to inspect your arrows when you pick them up again because you don't know who had them, but just that's kind of how I do it. Crossbows. I have a little hand crossbow I made, but I haven't used crossbows a lot. I think crossbows are fun. They're cool. They're a little hard to make. Nobody really is got the rules down and the construction methods down yet to where they're passing consistently. I think one guy does. I forget his name right off the top of my head. I camped with him at War or in Olympics at 1 year. McDib, I think. McDib. He has a nice crossbow. The crossbows are fun. Bows, though, that's kind of where I'm at. I like bows a lot. So, yeah, that's a little bit about bows and my experience with bows. If you get hurt, bows are a great option, but bows are expensive. Archery and dag is expensive. And, well, Dag and Belegarth is expensive. So, I mean, this whole kit for, like, archery, you're looking at minimum like $200 just to get into it with a decent bow that you don't have to make yourself. So it's a little pricey. It's probably one of the most pricey things to get into. So, yeah.